The Arizona Coyotes are unable to get back in the win column. They take a home loss to the New Jersey Devils. Final score 6-2.
We talk about that and more on today's special crossover between Locked On Coyotes and Locked On Devils.
Your Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey and also Arizona? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils Podcast Network and also the Locked On Coyotes Podcast Network. Your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen. I am joined by Robyn and Carl of Locked On Coyotes, and they're here to help me recap this game. I'm a happy camper. As you can see, I'm smiling ear to ear. If you're watching on YouTube, but Robyn and Carl, not so much, because that second period and third period, just not the Coyotes' night. But no. They said that we're essentially playing their AHL team. So, Robyn, Carl, what are your thoughts?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, they were playing their AHL. It was basically the Tucson Roadrunners. Secondly,
excuses.
Secondly, second period collapses. And Carl will vouch for me on this. We've been talking about this in the Locked On Coyotes podcast so many times. It is just so freaking common for this team to just absolutely collapse in the second period and just cause...
Yeah. This wasn't even like a legitimate collapse because it was only 2 goals. A second period collapse for the Coyotes is 3 goals in the span of 10 or fewer minutes. This has happened so many times this year that we can categorize how the team collapses. It is something that we're just so used to.
Well, here's the thing. We kind of owe you guys from the last game because, remember, I said the last time we were going to play you guys, it was going to be a gimme win for the Devils. I said it was going to be a gimme win. My confidence was through the roof, and I was humbled because that was actually the last game that Mackenzie Blackwood appeared in. Thank the Lord he's back to skating now, and he's back to practicing with the team, and I don't know when we'll see him in between the pipes again, but albeit I owe you guys from that last game just because I was just like, that was a gimme win. And I said on my last show, I said, no win is a guaranteed win for the Devils at this point in the season. No win is ever a guaranteed win. But if we're going to have a few good stretches of games, if we're able to beat the Dallas Stars, we should handle the Arizona Coyotes and also the Seattle Kraken. Just, putting that out there a little bit just because our next game is against the Colorado Avalanche, and I don't think we have any chance of winning that one. But then after the Avalanche, we got the Kraken. So I said, for these next 3 games, let's try to get 2. We got the Coyotes and we got the Kraken. Let's just take care of business. And we took care of business. But the one thing I have to say about you guys in period number 1, I was hearing bells the first period, like ring-a-ding-ding off the post so often. Dawes got really lucky, because you guys had great shot opportunities. Unfortunately, it just rang off the post and didn't find the back of the netting. So I was just like, maybe the hockey gods are working in the favor of the Devils this time around.
I mean, it could be. The Coyotes have just had the worst scoring luck recently. I'm not sure what it is, but the team cannot seem to score more than 1 goal a game. Sometimes 2, but they've just they're snake bitten. The team is snake bitten right now.
I think a lot of this comes from when that very short period of time when some of us are questioning whether or not the Coyotes were the hottest team in the NHL because they were scoring 6 goals a game for some reason at the beginning of March, and then
it comes and goes.
That's also, to be fair, Keller and Krause and Schmaltz and all that, they were doing so. They were going on a run.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Coyotes have 3 players who have reached 20 goals. 2 of them are out for the rest of the year.
Now, here's the thing. I think you guys can vouch for me on this one. What's the one thing that frustrates you most about your team, or one of the many aspects that frustrates you? I'm going to say special teams, because the Devils prior to this game were 0 for 16 in their more recent power play opportunities, and they had 5 power play opportunities this time around, and they capitalized on none of them. So they are now 0 for 21 in their more recent power plays. I'm glad we got the win, but power plays have been frustrating me. And aren't you guys like 30th in the entire league for power play goals?
Probably something like that. I will say this about the Devils' power plays. They weren't scoring on them, but they were taking that momentum and they were scoring like the minutes afterwards. So it's definitely, the frustrating aspect for the Coyotes is they continue to take penalties and it just grinds any kind of chance they have to a halt.
Robyn, can you vouch for that?
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem for that because they have a lack of any kind of power play offense. That is the biggest problem. And to make things worse is one of the worst penalty kills. So they'll let a power play go by, and that is a spark for their second period collapses, as what I mentioned before. They just let it go, and it's just like, oh my god, you guys just cannot hold it together.
Nope.
I could definitely feel for you on that one. Now, let's talk about going into this game. You guys told me before we started recording that the Coyotes are dealing with some injuries and some key players were out, and we were essentially playing the Roadrunners, which is your AHL team. And you know what? The one thing I could say is I don't want to hear it because Jack Hughes is out for the entirety of for the rest of the season. We had to shut down Miles Wood once again. Miles Wood is, it brings the energy and things of that nature. Jonas Siegenthaler is also out for the rest of the year. Mackenzie Blackwood hasn't appeared in a game since the last time we played you guys, like I believe a couple months ago. Jonathan Bernier has been out since like December or November or something like that. So, I totally feel for you in terms of that. But, when you let Zetterlund get his first career goal, I'm just saying, you're essentially playing the Utica Comets with the exception of Nico Heischer and a couple others.
Yeah, I mean and I think that's kind of what Carl and I were talking about in the pregame. It's like, yeah, both of these teams are just banged and bruised. It's just gonna see who's just gonna play worse, and obviously it ended up being Arizona in this case. But wow.
Also, before I forget, shout out to Kevin Ball for also getting his first career goal. So Kevin Ball and Fabian Zetterlund getting their first career goals in this matchup against the Coyotes. So congratulations to the youngsters for officially now making it to the NHL. Just wanted to put that out there.
Well, I will say this, because we can quantify it. Like 6 players on the Coyotes spent time on the Roadrunners this year. And then it was the season debut for Jack McBain and Nate Smith, who were in the NCAA up until this week. So that's like 8 players of the team who not really what you would call like NHL ready yet, or they're still adjusting. So I do think that is a big issue. But, like Robyn said, like you said, these are both 2 injured teams. I think the first game that they played was a much better like showing of what these teams can do. But I just have to respect New Jersey for capitalizing on their efforts.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree with you in that regards. It is definitely it's definitely a struggle. I said this was going to be a drag to the finish line, because the Devils just kept on getting injured. They had to deal with COVID, and I was just like, you know what? Let's just hope that we get at least 4 wins in these next like 12 games or something like that. And I'm just looking at the schedule. I'm just like, okay, Coyotes, Kraken. Like I said, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed at all. But I was just like, okay, but maybe they can, if they have a chance to get a win, it would be against those 2 teams because I'm done jinxing myself in that regards. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts as the season is starting to wind down because we're down to the like final 10 or so games. Like, what's been your biggest disappointment about the Coyotes? Because it's been a while since we've spoken. We spoke like back in January or something like that.
Yeah,
it was January. It's been it's been a while. And a lot has happened since then.
Yeah, a lot has. Robyn, you go first. What's your biggest disappointment?
Um, I don't know because like I already had a lot of I didn't have any expectations for for the Coyotes this year. I went in knowing this team was gonna be the one of the worst teams, one of the worst Coyotes teams we'd ever seen. You know, I kind of even said it, and I even talked about it in the pregame show. The Coyotes need 7 points in their next 10 games, now next 9 games, in order to avoid the absolute worst Coyotes season in franchise history.
Mm-hmm.
7 points they need. And does it? None of it surprises me. None of it does.
Yeah, I would agree with that. This is a very expected result. I will say, just kind of in general, I have been a little disappointed that the veterans haven't really stepped up as much as I kind of hoped they would, especially down the stretch. Like when Keller was hurt, um, I was talking to someone else on another podcast. And I was like, I think Kessel is going to be the person who steps up, and I think he is going to have like a phenomenal end to the season because he's that veteran guy. He's been there before. Team star player just went down. He knows what to do. And I haven't really seen that. I haven't really seen Erickson give too much more. I just kind of wish we'd get more play from the veterans.
The only other thing I actually will say, and as a kind of like something that was below expectations, even though I had no expectations, was not seen enough from Chick Norris. If you know what I mean, Jacob Chikrin. He's our Norris Trophy guy, but he's been kind of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, currently sidelined with injuries, but when
Well,
he
yeah.
wasn't, he took a bit of time adjusting to his new role. But yeah, that did not look really good as a season wide thing. Like you said, we're wrapping up kind of the whole season.
Yeah, I totally feel for you on that one. I'll give you guys my thoughts momentarily. But are you guys familiar with HelloFresh? Or are your listeners, viewers familiar with it?
We've talked about it. I think.
Yeah, I think they're aware.
We've
Okay,
given
well,
them.
I'll
We've
kick
given
it
them a
off. With
feel.
HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. So get farm fresh, seasonal produce, and easy-to-make recipes delivered right to your door every week. Ingredients travel from the farm to your doorstep in under a week, so they always arrive fresh, all without the trip to the grocery store or the farmer's market. I think we could both. I think we could all vouch for this. Like, it's usually a hassle to go to the grocery store when we're working and things of that nature. But yet we don't want to like get fast food or anything. We want something that's actually authentic and things of that nature.
Especially for someone like me, I work a super busy schedule. I work maybe the full day. Right by the end of the day, grocery stores are getting ready to close. I'm just like, do I really want to do this? No.
Plus, who wants to waste the gas?
Yeah, nope. It's $45 to fill my car right now. So, but that's beside the point. But yeah, HelloFresh definitely makes it much easier for people like us who are busy, don't really have time to get to the grocery store, but we want something that's fresh. We want something that's healthy. We want something that's from the farm. So pick your favorites from 50 different weekly options and skip weeks when you need to change your delivery date or update your preferences all in the HelloFresh app. So go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use code LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. Repeat, go to HelloFresh.com/LockedOn16 and use the code LockedOn16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 free gifts. It is highly encouraged that you guys go to HelloFresh because it's America's #1 meal kit. Okay, so let's talk about, I'll talk about the New Jersey Devils then. So I've obviously just been talking about the injuries and things of that nature. I don't know what, my expectations were somewhat moderate. I thought we would do so much better. But the problem is like we went straight from, possibly being that dark horse team to now just, trying to compete for the lottery at this point. But the idea that I had was that Dougie Hamilton would take a few steps in his career. Unfortunately, he suffered a jaw injury that required surgery. back in January. He was sidelined for almost 2 months, and he hasn't really been the same since. So he's not really what he's cracked up to be right now. But I'm not really going to hold that against him. Just like I said, he was sidelined for almost 2 months, so not going to worry about that. Jack Hughes was out for a significant amount of time, not only for towards the end of this year, but at the beginning of the year. He got hurt in the second game of the year, and he missed like 4-6 weeks or something like that. So it was just like it was so hard for us to fill that void, because we all saw how Jack Hughes just caught lightning in a bottle after the Christmas break. Like he was just on one, and he became an all-star, participated in the breakaway challenge, and Nico Hischier also took a few steps forward in his development, and I'm really excited to see what Hischier and Hughes could do in the future. And then you got someone like Dawson Mercer, Sharon Govich. By the way, Sharon Govich, guys, locked on Sharon Govich, scored 2 goals in period number 3. He is back. He got off to a very slow start to the season, but it is better late than never.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one thing I can remain positive about is that we are heading in the right direction. In my latest episode, I vouched for Luke Hughes to forego his second year of college at the University of Michigan and just play for us and sign his entry-level deal or play for Utica, whatever the case might be. Because, I'm seeing Beniers, I'm seeing Power, I'm seeing Johnson sign their entry-level deals, albeit, they've completed their second year Michigan. But I just feel like Luke Hughes is just ready to forego more college eligibility and just play for the Devils or the Comets, whatever the case might be. I really want him to sign his entry-level deal. But when that time comes, you got both Hughes brothers out there just running and gutting. You got one on the defensive side of things. You got one running the forwards and making the overall team better. And then, another thing is like something that's really undermined is that the Devils know how to make themselves better. Like, they know how to help the players around them. You saw that with Hughes and Sharon Govich and Mercer on their respective line. Then you see it with Hischier, because did you guys know who Zetterlund was going into this game? Probably not. Then again, I didn't know most of the Coyotes players coming into this game because, like you said, basically an AHL team. But Zetterlund was playing on the top 6, and he's only played in a few NHL games. The reason for that was because Hischier makes the people around him better. And who assisted on Zetterlund's goal? It was Hischier. So, that's the one thing I want to take account for, which is, the Devils. Yeah, it was a disappointing year. Yeah, it was kind of just very disappointing. But at the same time, we have a lot of potential. I'm really excited to see what we do next year. If we get a good draft pick, who knows? Maybe we can use that for leverage and trade that away for someone big. I don't know. That's something that I'm going to talk about come the offseason, because I think that's a good silly season discussion to have. Should we trade our first round pick in this year's draft? Because I think we're beyond drafting right now. I think it's time for us to make another big move and just take our organization to the next level, quite honestly.
It really tells you how different you guys are from us right now.
Then again, Robyn, I'm just optimistic. I like to call myself one of the more optimistic Devils personalities out there, because I've seen Devils Twitter and it's sometimes hell. Like, I hate when people are so negative, and I'm just like, hey, let's be positive for a second, all right?
Yeah. I mean, we're on the like Carl and I are on the shame for shame sweepstakes, so we're gonna
and it's probably not going to be too much better next year either. So we're looking for 2 top 10 picks in the coming years, and I mean, like you said, the Devils have definitely been hit with injuries, so they are an interesting team to watch. I would be very curious to see, like, you don't see too many high draft picks be traded, and that could definitely get a pretty significant return, especially at this draft, which is really deep. So that'd be quite the move.
A long time.
This is but by the way, before anyone comes at me on Twitter or the comment section, whatever the case might be, it is silly season. It's just entertaining the thought. Do not take it seriously. I cannot confirm or deny anything. That is just a disclaimer, okay? Because I love something I do on my show is called Silly Season, which I discuss like certain trade scenarios that I might see on the internet or something like that, and just say, could this actually happen? But it's silly season. It's not meant to be taken too seriously. But one of my silly season predictions actually did come true. I said that the Devils could get Dougie Hamilton, and they got him.
I mean, stranger things have always happened in the NHL. I didn't.
I don't mean to cut you off, but 3 goals in a minute span at the end of period number 2. I hate that brand of hockey, but I let it pass since it worked in the favor of the Devils. But
I mean,
continue.
that just normally happens with the Coyotes. Like I said, we track our second period collapses very carefully. But I was going to say, like, the Coyotes acquiring Taylor Hall, we saw that in, of course, Kevin Ball getting his first career goal against the Coyotes. That has been a theme this season as well. The Coyotes, like, former players and prospects, are just having their best games against the Coyotes. I do not know why. Uh, I guess like they just really want to show like something to the Coyotes. At this point, it seems like you're kicking a dead horse, but all credit to him. It was a nifty goal on a heavily screened goaltender.
I love you, Ball. Keep balling. Now, speaking of Taylor Hall, we're not going to talk about him because it's a sore subject for me. But let's talk about Scott Wedgwood. Why'd you guys release my boy like that? What was the story? Well, then again, we released him too. Well,
Yeah.
we sent him down to the AHL, but he got picked up by you guys, and then now he's playing with the Stars. And quite honestly, I think it's safe to say I'm regretting letting go of Scott Wedgwood because with our goalie situation, no offense to Nico Dawes, but it's just like we're relying on him way too much.
For the Coyotes with that, like, I think they just wanted to look at certain assets and, obviously they didn't want to get rid of Croway Melka because he's the future, one of the future goaltenders for the Coyotes. He's doing super well. So, like, it's like, okay, but we have another goaltender asset who's doing well that we can go ahead and offload, especially because we got him for free. We picked him up
Yeah.
off the waiver wire, which is the second time that they did that. They did that with Scott Wedgwood. So.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get something for nothing, you might as well. I'm honestly surprised the Coyotes didn't sell more at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying the team definitely did it to make sure that they do poorly down the stretch, but that's what's happening. And I sure do wish Melka could sit a little bit, but I don't think that they have someone who they think can uh, play a good 60 minutes. I kind of wish we still had Wedgwood, but it's not like he would have helped that too much.
Yeah, for my situation, it's just beggars can't be choosers. So, that for me, it's just like we could have definitely used him for a few games just because he actually did pretty well last year to start his to start his tenure with the Devils because he was actually holding down the fort for the first few outings that we had him for because Blackwood was out for a significant time due to COVID. So he was actually holding down the fort, quite nicely, but then he collapsed towards the end of the year. And then unfortunately, we tried sending him down and he was a two-way player, but you guys claimed him off. And, that's where we're at. But
And that shutout, I saw it was his fifth of the season. So maybe he can, get a playoff run, which he wouldn't have gotten with either of our teams this year. So good for him. Like I'd like to see him go deep.
All right, so guys, it is late at night, and I'm not used to covering West Coast coverage, but I am definitely going to need some energy after this. So I'm going to take? I'm going to take a Built Bar. So it's this time of the year. I know it's April. We're 3 months in, but I've given up on all my New Year's resolutions. I don't know about you guys, but not this year. I'm sticking to my resolution to eat right thanks to Built Bar. It almost feels like it's not really a resolution because I actually enjoy eating them. I'm sure you guys have tried the pasta. If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting protein bars. Pasta are the first ever protein infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy. They're not just a protein bar, they're a treat, and they're covered in 100% real chocolate. It's a fan favorite with incredible flavors, and Built Bars are definitely a much better option than your candy bar. And Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. Check out these stats: 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. You guys like Built Bars? What's your favorite flavor? I'm curious.
I am a big fan of the banana cream pie. That is my favorite one. It's one of the puffs. Just really love it.
And I will preface you on this one is the first time I ever tried my favorite flavor, I had some friends from the Locked On Network come visit me in Tucson. Shout out to JD Hernandez of Locked On Ducks and Sarah Avampado of Locked On Kings when they came down to Tucson to watch Roadrunners hockey. They gave me a churro puff. One of the best things I have ever had. Oh my God. I don't want anything else.
I need to get myself some more Built Bars. Unfortunately, I send them to my place in Philadelphia and give them to my family. So right now I'm in Michigan for college, but wrapping up soon. So mint brownie, coconut almond, churro, banana cream pie, and they even have white chocolate cookies and cream. They are all delicious, and new flavors are coming out all the time. If you think a flavor might be good, they'll definitely make it. It'll be delicious, and it'll be good for you. And I don't know how they do it, but somehow, some way, they're able to find all these unique flavors and make them great for you. The offer is go to Built.com, use the promo code LOCKED15, and you'll get 15% off your order. Again, use promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. All right, guys, so, we basically have talked about everything. We've talked about the woes of our team. We talked about this game. I'm still smiling ear to ear. 6-2 victory for the Devils. Scoring 2 goals within the final minute frame of period number 2. And, obviously Sharon Govich netting 2 goals in period number 3 because Sharon Govich is one of my favorite players on the Devils. I know it's been a long night for you guys, and, but we're used to it at this point, covering these tough losses. So before we do what I like to do on my show, which is grade our team performance, do you guys have any final thoughts or something that you want to mention before we wrap up?
Well, the one thing that I like to bring up, post game is kind of like, especially if myself and Carl, if we like to take a look at how we did against the spread, because we both make pregame BetOnline predictions. We look at the spread on BetOnline. And we're like, all right, here's how we're gonna do. Is it gonna go over? Who's gonna cover? I think we both agreed that this game was going to be over. It was going to be a sloppy game. So we were right on that one because the total points was at 6.5. Carl, you were right on the points with the Devils. I was a little more optimistic for the Coyotes, but
Yeah. I thought the Coyotes may actually be able to score. Like I said earlier, it was the debut of Nate Smith and Jack McBain. Both players, I thought looked pretty decent. Just kind of want to point that out. McBain got some time on the penalty kill. There was a lot of penalties, so he got to do a fair amount of killing. And Smith had a couple of good looks on the power play. Neither of them showed up on the scoreboard, but it takes a little bit of time to adjust from NCAA to NHL. But I liked what I saw so far.
All right. So I think for me was like, I was very, very, very cautious about saying this was going to be a quote unquote gimme win for the Devils because I've learned my lesson.
Our listeners do not forget that.
Yeah, they still bring it up. It's hilarious.
Really hope they do. I want them to forget it. Because now I look stupid. But yeah, where was I? Oh, great. You made me lose my train. Oh, right. Okay, so prior to the game, I was very cautious about saying this was going to be, a win for the Devils. I did not say that explicitly on my show. I said if they want to, stack up on the wins a little bit, your easiest bet is to do it against the Coyotes or the Kraken or both. Just try to get one of those next 3 games because, we had you guys, then we got the Avalanche, then we got the Kraken. And I said, if you want to at least get a win, it better be against either the Coyotes or the Kraken or, try to get 2 wins in a 3-game span. Right now we're on a 2-game win streak. Not really anything right now, but still. It's been a while since I've said the word win streak and Devils in the same sentence, unless it's like them saying like they've extended another team's win streak or fallen victim to another team's win streak. But I just, that's all I have to say. Like, I didn't say it wasn't going to be the prettiest of games, but, I said a win's a win. That's all I said because they're coming off a great game against the Dallas Stars. So I just said, okay, let's hope for a decent effort from the Devils. That's all I have to say. So, when rating this game on a scale from an A to an F, I am going to give the Devils, I'm going to give them a B+. No, actually, check that. I'm going to give them an A- because yes, they, let you guys score a couple times, and yes, it was sloppy in certain aspects, but the Devils really put their foot on the gas pedal when they needed to, and they answered on back. Like Tatar's goal, that was beautifully executed because it was just literally a few moments after you guys had tied the game, and then momentarily your goalie leaves the net, and Tatar sees the slight sliver of daylight, and he's able to score it into the back of the net quickly.
Yeah, that was really good. Coyotes needed to play that period until it was over, and they did not. And kudos to the Devils, for taking advantage of that, and for that next goal immediately after from. I thought it was Subban at first. Who was actually credited with it?
It was Jesper Boquist on the redirect.
Oh yeah, the redirect. Yes. Two late period goals. You just hate to see it.
It makes you feel better, Carl. I literally ranted on my show a couple episodes ago. I said, scoring 3 goals in a minute span because the Devils had given up 2 goals. They had scored 1, 2. I just said, I don't care what team it is. If there's 3 goals in a minute span, that's not how you play the sport of hockey. That is sloppy. I said, I will let the Devils slide this time around just because it worked into their favor. But, 3 goals in a minute span. I don't care what team you are. I don't care if it's if it works in your favor. I don't care if it works against you. I don't care what the case might be. It's not how you play hockey. I hate that. So so yes, I'm happy that happened in favor of the Devils, but at the same time, I'm just like, that's not how hockey should be played. That's not how the game works. I hate that. So I'll give you that. So let me ask you guys this. Individually, how would you rate this game for the Coyotes on a scale from A to F?
So I'm going to joke around a little bit on this one. First and foremost, here in the state of Arizona, F does not exist. Our lowest grade is E.
This is true.
And that is what I'm going to be giving the Arizona Coyotes.
What's E? What does E mean?
E is essentially
it's
F.
just an F, yeah.
They're like, oh, F sounds so harsh, so we're gonna do E instead.
Wait, is that how the school system works in Arizona?
Yeah. Our schools are not good.
We got some of the worst schools in the nation.
Hey, knock on wood. Hey, okay. I really should not be saying this, and I really hope no one important is listening, but I am applying to grad school, and I am a comm major, so one of the schools I am looking at is Arizona State University. Just putting that out there.
I mean, university level is fine, but I mean, it's the lower schools that it is not good.
Yeah. Whatever, Robyn. But seriously, like, just play that out there, and like I said, knock on wood, nothing is official. I'm working on it, but just putting that out there. I really should not be saying that, but
it's fine. But go ahead, Robyn. Continue your explanation of your E.
Again, they had a good start. I'll give them that, and then they, up until that, even the tie, when they tied it late in the second period, I'm like, okay, this is decent, but the collapse, it's just so gotten so freaking common. I'm just like, can't they figure out a way to combat that? They just let it happen. They have no response whatsoever, and they let it get to even worse. 4-2, yeah, you can come back from 4-2, but when it gets when it got to 6, and it's like, come on, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I am. I'm gonna go with a D-, just because I always have the lowest expectations. So the Coyotes played a game like they would at any point in the season. Like, they took 6 penalties. I've seen them do that so many times. They scored 1 power play goal. I've seen them do that. At least you guys
have a power play goal in your more recent opportunities. Like I said, we're 0 for 21 in our more recent opportunities.
Yeah, but the way you guys built off the power plays, even though they weren't scoring, like, the Devils built in a way that I would love to see the Coyotes be able to do. I would love to see them actually have a significant momentum shift and have be able to capitalize on it. And They just can't. And I mean, there's 9 games left in the year, and I don't think they're going to be able to. So this is pretty much what we're going to see, except against much better teams, because other than the Chicago Blackhawks, who the Coyotes are playing next week, Arizona's going to be playing some of the better teams in the league to finish off their season. It's going to be painful.
All right, so you've heard Carl, you've heard Robyn, and you've heard myself. So, guys, once again, thanks for doing this crossover. Really wish no, only one of us could win, and I'm glad that it's me. But once again, Devils come out victorious 6-2. That was payback. That was payback because like I said, I regret what I said on our crossover back in January because I got manhandled by everyone who said like. You're an idiot for saying that or that kind of thing. To this day, why I don't say no game is a gimme win for Devils. So that was payback. That was payback, and now I'm smiling ear to ear. So, Robyn, Carl, thanks again for doing this.
Yep,
Absolutely.
great to be on.